Hey everyone, it's Holly McHugh here, sales and messaging coach for service-based entrepreneurs. And in today's video, I want to address a big question that I'm hearing left, right, and center in my community right now, which is, should I be discounting in the current climate? And maybe this is a question you have asked yourself. Should I be doing something differently with my pricing? Has everyone's financial situation changed? Are they ever going to buy from me again? Is it really possible to sell high ticket? So let's dive into some of this right now, because the most important thing above all is to not make assumptions. Okay, so that's the most important thing, because the second we assume that people aren't going to buy from us, or they're not going to pay for premium services, or they're not going to pay for one-on-one, or they're not going to sign up to a longer term program, we're stopping ourselves in our tracks right from the get-go. And ultimately, we are pre-deciding for our audience and for our prospective clients. It's none of our business what someone else's financial situation and circumstances are. And the big reality is that not everyone's financial situation has changed or is adversely affected. In fact, some people will have been positively affected during this crisis for whatever reason. And there are a lot of people who are really seeing that long-term benefit of investing in themselves or their businesses or their health or their relationships in a whole new way at this current time, because we have to remember this is not going to be the reality forever. Okay, so please don't make assumptions. Secondly, we've got to remember that age-old truth, which is just as relevant now as it has been always, and that is that people pay for what they value. And what people value more than anything else in the world is the ability to solve their burning problems. So what you're actually selling to someone is clarity, confidence, and certainty. Clarity, confidence, and certainty, regardless of what it is you're actually delivering. That's what people are buying from you. And now more than ever, they're craving that sense of certainty. They're craving a sense of control over the areas in their life, health, relationships, work that they can control when so much is currently outside of our control. So don't first and foremost think about your pricing. First and foremost, think about the value that you are communicating, how you can position this to your audience in a way that's going to resonate, and that's always meeting them where they're at and speaking their language, but most importantly, addressing the biggest pain point in that specific area. Okay, so think about it through that lens of clarity, confidence, and certainty. Now, getting on to the actual question of pricing. There's a lot of psychology involved in pricing, and there's definitely an art and a science to how we should ever price any of our programs and services. We definitely want to be mindful and aware of what kind of industry benchmarks are, what are similar people in our space offering for similar services. It's not to say that we have to be exactly where they are at. It doesn't mean that we have to be lower or higher. It's just having that sense of judgment. And the reason being because if we are vastly or wildly different to what many of our competitors are offering, if we are really low ticket for something that is high perceived value, then the question mark in someone's mind may actually be, ironically, is it really going to be worth it? Is it actually going to deliver on what I need because it seems too cheap? People definitely don't want to be investing in a false economy right now. More than ever, as I mentioned, they want that confidence that whatever they are investing in, they are going to get the results and transformation and the outcomes that they truly want. So it's not necessarily about slashing prices in order to win clients. We have to think about the types of clients we really want to attract, the ones that are committed, the ones that are engaged, the ones that are willing to have some skin in the game in order to get the type of results that they long for. Okay, we don't want to attract a tribe of people who want the lowest possible price no matter what, because that's not necessarily building an audience of, the most ideal prospects and future clients in terms of our business overall. And what we need to remember right now is, this is short term. We don't want to make drastic changes that affect the long term or affect our brand or our perception or reputation in a way that's going to be hard to recover from when this passes. So what can we do? There are a number of different strategies that mean you can position your offers and services as affordable and accessible to more people during challenging times without necessarily diluting the impact or power or reputation of your personal brand. So first and foremost, you can look at how you might repurpose existing offers. So if you usually sell one-on-one or very high-ticket offers, how might you repurpose that into more of a group-based program that could invite more people in at a lower entry point in terms of the pricing? Equally, if you're used to running group programs, but you still feel that that's perhaps out of reach for some people, you could also look at creating some form of digital product or self-study that still allows people to take the first few intentional steps towards where they want to be and get some traction and momentum and results, but for a price point that makes sense. So really what we want to do is, rather than discount and actually sell far lower than we know what our product or program is worth, it's really about how can we create an offer using what we already have at our disposal in terms of our knowledge, experience, existing content, into something that makes sense for that price point. So it feels good to sell it, because here's the most important thing. Pricing has to feel good. Everything that we do in our business has to feel good, authentic, and aligned. If it doesn't, something is going to jar with us, and we're ultimately not going to bring in the sales that we want. We're not going to attract the clients we want. We're not going to build our email list for the types of leads that we want. So if we're undercharging, and we know we're vastly undercharging, we could end up resenting the very people we then end up working with. That does not feel good from an energetic point of view, and we're not necessarily going to be able to support those people in the way we know how to. We're not going to get the best win-win outcome. Equally, if we are charging something that feels too much at any given time, or especially now, then we're not actually going to sell it. Okay, if we feel that we're overcharging it and we're not quite there yet, then energetically that's not aligned either, and something will ensure that we block ourselves from really doing it. We're just not going to put it out there, we're not going to share it, we're not going to talk about it, we're going to hold ourselves back, consciously or unconsciously, from even having those sales conversations. There's going to be resistance. So we have to really tune in intuitively first and foremost with what feels good. If I had the final decision on what I sold this particular service for, what would feel good? Because guess what? You do have the final decision. And then you can perhaps do some sense checks rationally and logically by doing those competitive comparisons, just to make sure that that all lines up as well. But the most important thing is that it feels good to you, because then you're going to be excited and passionate and enthusiastic to share it. And guess what? That's really infectious too. So confidence in what you're selling is 80% of the sale. If you're confident in what you're offering and the value that you're offering at the price point you are delivering it at, then you have a far greater likelihood of actually closing that sale to begin with. Okay, so other options as well are considering extended payment plans. So you're not necessarily discounting, but you're giving people a longer period of time to be able to contribute those payments towards that particular service. This is great if you're doing longer term programs or higher level programs that you know are really going to take people to new results, new levels of transformation, new sense of achievements that require more investment, higher touch, accountability and accessibility to you, a more structured program with additional resources. And you just simply can't do that at a low ticket price. Payment plans are a brilliant way to go. And again, really what this is all about is, how can I make my services as affordable and accessible to the largest group of people? Because ultimately, it's getting them through the door first and foremost, to move them from a follower or a subscriber into a paying customer, because we know that they are 7 times more likely to buy from us again. So when they are feeling ready to invest in a bigger way, you're going to be the first person they come to, because they will have had that first experience of working with you. You will have been able to demonstrate your expertise and your value. So consider a lengthened extended payment plan. Now, what that also does for you is actually create some financial stability and recurring revenue over a longer period of time. So it's a massive win-win to also consider that. So if you're thinking about doing any discounting in particular, or you just really are feeling called towards that, then definitely make sure that you are being really mindful around the messaging and the positioning of that, so that you are not shooting yourself in the foot for when you want to sell at a higher price point later down the track. So if you have a product that you know should really be $300, maybe you have sold it in the past for $300, but right now you're just feeling really called and really passionate about selling it for $100 or $150, then you just need to be making sure that what you are saying is, this is a special one-time offer, it's limited, it's available until this date, or you are simply saying the value of this is $300. Right now you can get it for $100, so that it doesn't feel like a massive jump back to $300 as and when that feels good to you. Okay, so again, you really want to be protecting your personal brand here and the perceived quality that you have to offer in your industry, in your niche, and amongst your audience. So you're not just seen as someone who offers low ticket but can't necessarily deliver on the longer term results and transformation that someone might be looking for. So again, it comes back to what people value. And there are a lot of people right now that are looking to invest. They are looking to use their downtime meaningfully. I'm hearing every single day of examples of people who are spending multiple 5-figure investments in coaching services, in consulting services, in mindset programs. A client in the last week got multiple new people joining a program at multiple 5-figure investment as well. So it's not that people aren't buying, and this is where it really comes back to knowing your exact target market that you're looking to attract. We're not looking to sell to people who are financially destitute. We're not looking to sell to people who literally cannot afford our services, okay? That doesn't feel good for anyone involved in that conversation. And we have to remember that it's not just about getting the numbers in no matter what either, because your client's success is your success. Your client's results are your results. So it still has to be a fit. It still has to ensure that you're attracting the right people to you that you know you can help and support and serve, and that you want to genuinely work with, okay? Rather than just any old person who's going to sign up to a program because it happened to be low ticket. Okay, so definitely we want to keep the longer term in mind, even though in the short term we may need to make some changes and adjustments in this area. So I truly hope that this has given you some food for thought and perhaps a shift in perspective around how you're positioning your services right now, how you can get creative around the offers that you're actually delivering, and of course the pricing that makes sense and feels good, most importantly to you, so that you can continue to bring sales in during this period of time, and also plant the seeds for future sales down the track by showing up more in front of your audience and really being visible and consistent with that. So I cannot wait to hear what you decide and how you move forwards, and I will speak to you again really soon. Bye for now.